it going?
Hey, how are you?
The
Good. The day was a hot day.
I was going to say summer going
Yes.
fast ain't it already.
Yeah, it's going pretty fast. I'm glad because I want the fall to get here. Mhm.
Oh,
No, let's not rush the summer. Let's
What?
not
Oh
rush.
yeah, well
Rush
I
the
know
summer,
Not
y'all.
rush the summer. Let's not rush the summer.
I just started to like say I need to, try to enjoy the summer, the best I can. You know what I mean? I went to Palm Springs to visit my niece, and
One of my favorite places.
I love it. Like I said, Keith, can we move to California? He was like, I don't know. I was like, because during these times we need to be in a solid blue state. I think we need to go to California.
that was nice. That was
I mean,
nice.
if I move to California, that's because this situation going on. And then the next place is to move out the country. You know what I mean? But we had a really good time and it
Nice.
was uber hot, like 110 during the
Yeah,
day. But at
yeah,
night it was 70 and it felt
yeah,
great. My niece got a
yeah.
pool and my little nephews keep teaching them teaching them how one nephew, Christian, he learned how to swim. Was coming along. He played so much he couldn't focus. But it was a great experience. I know I'm going to go back for Christmas because we're going to have Christmas in Palm
Nice.
Springs with her. So,
JW Marriott, one of the best places ever on earth for us. We used to have our family reunion there
oh
every
well,
year.
you make sure you share me that information because you know that
I
I
will.
don't know where I'm at. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it was very enjoyable. Like, but I will
Yeah.
tell you this before we start. On our way, because I should have flew into Palm Springs, I flew into LAX,
Okay.
and it was in the nighttime, and a damn sandstorm was coming. I was like,
Mm,
"Oh my God, y'all, we is not going to make it." I was like, you know, the wind turbines they was going, saying like it was like a snowstorm. It was so. I was
yeah.
like, "You can't have a decent car out here. Your paint gonna be gone."
But know that you pay a lot more to fly into Palm Springs,
Yeah.
and it's a very hard connection coming from the East Coast. So I'll just
But I
preface it
said
by
I was
saying
going
that.
to do that, Chauncey, because I wanted to break up that flight. You know what I mean?
Yes, right. Or you
Yeah.
can fly into San Diego and drive into
Yeah, it's Palm Springs.
go south and then go. Yeah. So
Yeah. So the day was a hot day, not just because of weather. It was hot with a lot of things moving. Diddy, you know what I mean, is Diddy, he's a partially free man. That's what I'm gonna say, a partially free man. He's not released. I'll give that disclosure, but the charges that he was found guilty of are lesser charges. I don't know what anybody expected. I expected him to be completely innocent. I'll be honest, because I don't think the prosecution delivered. I'll just say that delivered. But it is what it is. People know um, what they see and what they believe. So this is our topic tonight because I actually saw one of our old co-hosts actually present this question, and it was like, hmm. So the question um, is a person a victim? Well, not is a person a victim. Victim versus willing consenting participant. And it really hits on this case with Puffy. Really hits on it because I say, and I'll let y'all all go. I say that what they presented to me, um, these two ladies that told their story, and they were victims of his abuse, that they were willing participants. Because I think when you start exchanging money, I look at it a little bit different than somebody being held hostage. Now, I'm not saying that they're not traumatized in any kind of way. I don't want to have people jump me, but I think that when you get it to a court of law, we have to look at the legalities of what is actually going on. And this is just my personal opinion. I think one person was um, just too immature to make sound decisions, and the limelight and the fame kind of guided her in the wrong direction. The other one, I think that she seek many different opportunities because she's never been with somebody who has less. I'll just say it the nice way. I want to say other things, but she's never been with anybody, and nothing against her because you choose the path you go. But what is your thought on this, Keisha?
Okay. Well, um, I think you can be both. I
Mm-hmm.
think at certain points, well, let me say, as far as this case, I do agree with you that one person was definitely a victim
Mm-hmm.
and another person seemed to be more so with it, with the shenanigans.
Yeah.
However, I think that in a case here, you can actually be both. And
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying like that is you start off and you're willing, but at some point in your mind, you could be stuck or really victimized. It's just like if you have sex with one person today, but you said I don't want to have sex tomorrow, the next day, but you're forced to do it, then you are a victim,
Right,
even though
right,
you are familiar with that person. So
right.
I think that it runs both ways, and I just I think that the it really plays on, first of all, the age of the person
Mm-hmm.
there, because like you said, one was very, very young.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that you don't really develop in your mind until you're like 25. And
Yeah,
by
my
that
dad used to
time,
say that.
it depends on how you've been warped to think that this is love. And
Mm-hmm.
so it to me is a question of making sure we teach young girls that what it is to date, what it is to love, because you're thinking he's for me and this is for me and this and all that you were doing was really detrimental to your health, really detrimental to your body, detrimental to just your all around being.
Mm-hmm.
So
Your mental health. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my take on it.
Mm-hmm. Chauncey?
I think I kind of piggyback off of what Keisha is saying. I the first thing I just want to ever understand in situations like this, when I look to see those victims' family members, where were you in all this time with your daughter, being concerned about her, knowing what's happening to her? She ain't got no dad. She don't have no brothers.
They couldn't tell her
Like,
nothing.
He
where,
do.
but she did.
She
And
did.
then the mother to be aware of what's happening. So you didn't call dad, you didn't call the brothers. I, I'm just like, where are we failing our girls? Because it's not just a self-esteem issue, it's a safety issue. We're talking about, as Keisha said, not your overall well-being, but are you not thinking about your future? Like, do you not just even for a little bit foresee 15 years down the line, 20 years down the line, what this could possibly do to me? How did I get here? How did I allow this to happen? How was I convinced? How was I, influenced
Mm-hmm.
enough for this to happen to me? And so when we look at the word, victim versus willing participant, also, as Keisha said, more than one thing can be true at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, with that being the case, when do you say, no, this is not enough? And then when you do, is it just enough to be able to have influence over you, verbal influence over you, or the possible threat of what could happen to you if you don't? Um, I I'll always say a story, and I'll share this with you all very quickly. I remember being, I think it was around junior high school, right? So you all know, I'm originally from the West Coast, coming to the East Coast. And I remember someone coming in and teaching the class because they were talking about us, young girls being raped. You can be grabbed and you can be pulled here, and what could happen to you and what to do if this is to happen to you. And they always gave the advice that you let it, because the goal is to always be able to go home and be safe, because you don't want them to hurt you any more than they already are. And I remember going home and being so upset with literal tears in my eyes, having to say to my mother, if that is me, they're gonna have to kill me. This is mine. This is my body. What I have between my legs belongs to me. And no one gets to take that away from me. Now, I ain't no fighter by no means, but
Right.
I feel like this is the most precious thing that I have. And who are you? I don't care if you put a gun, a knife, or whatever. You're going to have to kill me to take it. We're going to fight till the end for you to have to take this from me. And so I guess with that, me having that mindset about myself, um, not because someone told me, just because it was innate. And how offended I was that you would have the audacity, and a man of all people, just take it. Are you kidding me? And I just, and my mother shared some things with me afterwards, and we had a really open dialogue, and I got to know her in a very different way, very young. And you know, that's another story for another time. But that's what I always go back to. And so I'm saying, what are we saying to our girls? What message are we sending to them? One young lady who was working for him, meaning Diddy, and she was on the stand. I think her name was Mia, and she was saying something to the effect of working there and getting accustomed to making the money that she was, you know, making for him, and still not being able to say no, and how it started in that aspect. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, when do you get to that point, and then what responsibility do you bear in those scenarios?
So I'm gonna pose a question before you jump in, Celeste.
Want me to jump
When
in?
we talk about willing participants and we talk about victims, you know what I mean? I do think they shake hand in hand. The part that I'm just saying that I don't want to get away from is these are not one-time incidents. You see what I'm
Right, right,
saying?
right.
This is
Yeah,
over a course of time, 10 years, 12 years, you know what I mean? And let's be truthful. When the devil come up in the room, you know what I mean? You kind of know what you're signing. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's where if you did this to me one time, you try to violate me. Okay, yeah, then that's a whole thing. But you keep saying, and even when you start presenting yourself that I'm jealous, when you mess with other women, something is the crosshairs are not right there. You see what I'm saying? It's not. So
okay,
that's why I say, is this a willing participant or is this a victim? You know what I mean? Because you can't shake hand with the devil and think that God is going to be right there and say, okay, keep on doing it, keep on hanging with the devil, but you're not going to have any repercussions. You said yourself, Chauncey, hey, we talking about your body. You know what I mean? 10 years of you're now calling prostitutes to come and have sex with you so he can watch. You know what I mean? Is there something wrong here? You're letting somebody pay $10,000 for rent. Where are you living, hun? You see what I'm saying? But you sign yourself to this. You know what I mean? You sign yourself. That's my opinion because I feel like you, Chauncey, I have standards. You know what I mean? I may not have fake booth, a fake butt, and all this other stuff, but this is my body. This is my temple. I'm going to have control over it. If I want to be loosey goosey, I signed off for it. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just
right.
saying, everybody to me is not a victim. I'm going to put that out there. It's not a victim. Celeste, go ahead. Because you,
So I had to say that because I always get in trouble. I was going to say something like, in these cases, I think they were willing participants to being victimized. That's it.
boom. Yeah, I agree with you. Because
Just
if it was one day,
like this and think you're going to have power over them to say no or to say that's enough or say any of those things. I am so sorry. That's like me. No, I just don't. No, I'm sorry. You're a victim, but you are a willing participant in this game that we're about to play where you're going to be the victim that's going to get victimized. And you knew it when you got here. Whether you were
And what
young, whether you were old, whether you were, you know the power he got.
because the
This is
first time he asked you, right, Celeste, he say, this is the thing I want to try to do. Are you good with that? Because now you done open the door. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, right
No,
there.
I'm not good with it.
Once
Okay.
he gives me attention, I'm gonna go, what you want? Yeah, but you want, you want control.
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
But
That's
then you gotta also give in consideration that the introduction of drugs. So you get somebody high, you get somebody um their inhibitions are they don't have any. Then you kind of open that, you kind of get that door open with that.
Yeah,
And then once you do it one time, like I got this video now of you. So now I'm controlling you. And one of the incidents, and I'm talking about speaking of Cassie, it was total control because I'm in control of your career. I got you locked down in a contract. So you really can't do anything unless I say you can do whatever, whatever. But now I'm keeping you high and keeping you like this And then not only that, we got to do the physical aspect because it's just like if you're in a marriage and you in abusive, it take a long time for people to get out of those
Yeah.
abusive situations.
Okay, I'm
So
gonna play
Right.
the
So
double
all of
advocate
that,
that
with you,
right.
Keisha. I'm gonna
is
play the
taken
double
into
advocate with
consideration
you.
too.
Cassie was in the contract, right? Cassie was
Mm-hmm.
guaranteed $10 million, okay, in her contract. Okay, when Puppy met her, she was singing and dancing, and so ambition is a part of this screenplay. So you're in a situation now that one, drugs have been introduced. Puffy didn't force her to take drugs. Drugs was introduced. That's number one. Number two, you have a legal binding contract. What she got paid for was not because it was some hush money. She was actually getting paid for her contract that was never fulfilled. You see what I'm saying? It was a span of
Agree with
6 years that she said nothing, okay? And then you come on the stand and say you jealous of Young Miami. Why would you? Young Miami came many years after her relationship broke up. She broke up around the time Kim Porter died. Kim Porter been dead since 2018 or 17, something like that. So how are you still now, and you fully grown, you going off with the trainer, okay? Puffy's trainer, you're off with the trainer. I think like everybody is saying the same thing. I think it's self-esteem issue, but ambition can drive you a place that you can't
That's
go
what I'm
back
saying.
from. You see what I'm saying?
And
You can't be a
so the
victim if you take
desire,
yourself there. You see what I'm
He was
saying?
well, because
in
the
position in
desire
place.
to get, right,
Uh-huh.
the desire to get these things, right, to get, whether it is to get famous, to be infamous, to
Hmm.
have celebrity,
Hmm.
to have the opportunity, because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, is she even the greatest singer? Was the
No,
contract even worth $10 million? Where, you know what I
no.
mean? If disability is looking at you and you get injured at 45, and they're gonna make a determination as to what you would have made over the span of your lifetime, the question then becomes, was your talent relevant enough for you to
Hmm.
get the amount that you did get? And
No.
so then now, is there some young person looking at what's happened to her saying, you know what, could it possibly be worth it? So then, are people purposefully putting themselves in certain situations so that this could possibly be the way that they get their ticket? It's just so many aspects to this that are just crazy. And again, it's not that I personally am doing any type of victim blaming. I'm just really trying to understand, how you can. My grandfather used to say, "Everybody want to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to die to get there."
Absolutely.
So I look at this and I say, okay, you want to be famous, but you had no clue or didn't realize what you'd have to go through, because now she's famous, she's infamous, she has celebrity. So all the things that she was looking for,
He got it.
technically she got it.
He got it. She got
It may
it.
not have been the
thing
way she
is,
wanted to get it.
you
Yeah.
shouldn't have to go through. You should not have to go through that to do that.
We we
It
totally
should
agree.
be
You should not have to go
cruelty
through it
free
at
artistry.
all. Mm-mm.
Cruelty free artistry. That's what it should have been.
Hmm.
But
But
how much
But
did she get?
y'all know that's not the real world because you think about it. You messing with Puffy, okay? Puffy history has preceded him.
And
He
how much a month was he paying her?
okay. Let me just get to this another point. And this person said this today. Everybody can sit back and say she's a victim, but she had no problem with watching Puffy victimize Kim Porter because you thought you were getting something there. Like you can't switch the tables and say, now, you know what I mean? Do I think that Cassie got some issues mentally going on? Most
Sure.
definitely. Most definitely. She
Because of him, for sure,
most
because of
definitely.
him.
I don't think because just him. I think that
Right.
started before him because
I
you don't get yourself in a situation like that unless something previously has knocked that self-esteem down. Because you, me, Keisha, and Celeste, we not all gonna deal with a puffy. You see what I'm saying? She dealt with a puppy, and even when I was 19 years old, and I think I was very naive at 19 years old. Oh, I still knew how to fight. You see what I'm saying? And there ain't too much stuff you can tell me because I had Nate also as my father, and he used to tell me a lot of the stuff that I needed to know, even if I didn't want to hear it. So just like you said, Chauncey, mom, dad, or somebody, they taking out second mortgages to pretend like you're gonna pay Puffy. Somebody weak up in the family because you're not gonna come to my house and we're gonna take out a second mortgage because you're gonna do something to my daughter. You might go missing. You see what I'm saying? But she had this scenario, so this has to be before Puffy. Like you're 19 years old, like you said, Chauncey. Where was your parents at? You see what I'm saying? You're still young in the mind. Nobody's interacting, but it's Puffy. And guess what? You could be a big star, so you just selling yourself away. 10, 15 years go by, you selling yourself away. And the reason why I say that, because how do you incorporate jealousy into this? If you are a victim, why are
Stockholm
you jealous?
because
Stockholm
it's
syndrome.
Stockholm
Yes,
syndrome.
I
It's still
agree.
a form of Stockholm
Exactly. That's what
syndrome.
I'm trying to
And so
say.
yeah, and
That's what I'm
so it's just
saying.
like
It's
and then
mental.
I feel like, just as people and human beings, right? The
Hmm.
difference between something illegal, immoral,
Hmm.
and unethical. Like, you know what I mean?
They
So
all bad.
people are doing right. They might all be bad, but not all of them are illegal. So the thing is, unethical, right? Is it always illegal? Not necessarily. It's just unethical.
Yeah.
How about immoral? Is immorality illegal, or is it
Mm-mm.
just immoral? You know what I mean? So
Depends on what
there's this
state you
fine,
in.
right?
It might be
Yeah.
on somebody
or or
books.
or it depends on where cancel culture is at the time, right?
Absolutely.
So where we are as a society at any given time, right?
Right.
So then now the question becomes, and I always said this from the beginning, is his freakiness being put on trial? Because that's all I was really hearing from the beginning. And
I
then
said
now,
that.
now I understand, based on what one of the attorneys, the legal analyst, was saying. The purpose in bringing the RICO charges was that by them bringing the RICO charges, they could pull in all the evidence. You know what I mean? Whereas
Yes, because
if
you had
they
to hit different points to make it a RICO charge, and that brought in
it,
burning up Kid Cudi car and all these
it brought
things.
in, and that's why they kept talking about the baby oil and bringing up the baby oil. So then now you went through all of that,
And
but the
taxpayer
victims
money.
in taxpayer money, and the victims still feel like they didn't get any justice in the end. So you brought the freakiness on trial to set up the civil cases,
Yeah.
but not necessarily for the criminal case itself. So was it a waste of time? Was it
Yes.
a waste of taxpayer money when you
Yes.
should have just gone after those particular charges to begin with, and it would have been but then you would not have been able to pull in all of the stuff that you gathered.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so
And that failed.
it's a cat and mouse game, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just
And
crazy.
you
And
had to know that when the defense stepped up, they had nobody. They didn't care to get anybody. It ain't like they could get. They did have a problem getting people.
they felt like the burden wasn't met
The
right
barrier
away.
wasn't met. Like, and you
Hmm.
you drag this like. What I feel bad for is like Cassie's children. You know what I mean? Because you can't never erase this. You see what I'm saying?
That for all the kids.
Yeah, like they, oh yeah, puffy kids. You know what I mean? I feel bad for them. They coming out crying and stuff like that. They have to be looking at him in a different light if they didn't know what was going on. I don't know about them boys, but them little cute girls, them twin girls, and that older sister is in. It's heartbreaking to see that you are over here treating women like they dirt on the bottom of your shoe. You know what I mean? But you glorify your cute daughters, your beautiful daughters. You give them everything they want and so
You
on.
into that part. I was
Hmm?
with you into that part. I was with you into that part because how
What?
I look, it's probably wrong.
Uh-huh.
If you know that your dad or your cousin or your uncle or your manager got enough power to catapult your career and
Hmm.
to manipulate all these people, you gotta know that he's victimizing people. He gotta be.
Exactly. I agree
But
with
that's the
you.
point that I'm saying. When your children
I
see
agree.
that, they seeing in that's exactly what I said. They're seeing in a different him in a different light. I don't think they were exposed to that before, especially them girls. Now them boys, I don't know. Them boys is a little special. You see what I'm saying? They want to run the track like him. You see what I'm saying? You got to be watching them little boys. But them girls, I think that the image they thought of their father, like I don't, he can't recover from that. That's the biggest damage. He can't recover from that. Them girls was in there crying, leaving the courtroom. They got all kind of lewd things going on. You on got on tape and all kind of stuff. I wouldn't want to see my dad like that. You see what I'm saying? Even if I knew, you know what I mean? And guess what? They knew that he was seeing all different kind of women because they met these women. You see what I'm saying? They met these women. What was the girl Gina? She was just talking today, that she didn't have any problem with him, and she was one of the women. They were all in this triangle together, and I just feel
Now
like
that's
it's
because she
sad,
got paid.
huh?
Paid. She got paid.
Yeah, I mean, but when it all come down to money and things like that, are you willing? That's what I'm saying. Are you willing to sacrifice yourself?
They
And I
were.
think
They were.
it's that's where it's at. I
They
mean,
were.
yeah. So
They
no
probably
thought.
said, no matter what happens, I gotta make it.
Yeah, yeah. You know what you was walking into. It's nothing glamorous about going into that life.
That doesn't excuse him for behaving like that, but
No,
No, it
no.
doesn't.
but
No, it does
Because
not.
it's always karma. I'm telling you, it's always karma. You may not think you're gonna get it now. We may never see it, but it's always karma. Always. And I think that he got a lot to pay for. He really do. Because money shouldn't make you feel entitled to hurt and harm people. You see what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. Because even if they
Well,
were
it seems to me
willing,
it's
you know what you're
right.
doing. You're still wrong. You see what I'm saying?
and
You're
and
willing.
and money makes it worse because it seems to me that he had the attitude of that prior to even having the kind of money that he wind up amassing,
But
later
look at his
on.
background. Look
He
where he come
Yeah.
from. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Puffy come from drug dealing, hustling kind of lifestyle. Mama fast out on the street. Everything he know is not what we think. We gonna deal with. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And he
he's
been put that into
hustling.
the
He been
business life.
hustling.
You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he
Yeah.
he been hustling. What'd
is
you
he a
say,
friend of Trump?
Celeste?
Is
Huh?
Trump gonna excuse him? Is he a friend of Trump?
Ain't no need to excuse him because this charge ain't enough to excuse him. Maybe like if we get a felony, then we can't get a job. You know what I mean?
What he needs to do is accept those charges that were given to him and
Mhm.
hope that whatever sentence has been laid out, that they allow whatever time has been
And his attorneys
served
will know that.
to,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and they'll know that, but they'll take these charges with in a heartbeat compared to what
Oh
it
yeah.
could have been. And so
Rico.
I had right, and I have seen people um and I'm surprised because I guess how I feel is that a lot of people really still haven't participated in the judicial system as far as being a juror and understanding the directions that are given to you. They are very serious about that, and you have to understand. We hear it when we're armchairing and looking up stuff on Wikipedia and Google. But when you're in those courtrooms, they are impressing upon you that you have to look at the evidence presented. You have to only hear, and you have to be able to separate what you think, what you heard out here, what's going around. That's where sequestering comes from, right? You have to forget all of that and base everything on the facts and the evidence presented to you in this particular case. And we don't see all of the ins and outs sometimes, and it looks like it's TV drama and all of that, but they're very serious about that. So then people are like, well, how did they acquit him? And like, really, y'all, think about it. If we've been sitting here for the longest saying, like, okay, like, all right, where the Rico at? Like, where the Rico at? Because you just keep talking about the sex, the
Maybe that's the
sex, the
problem.
sex,
Stop
the
looking at
sex.
Wikipedia. Okay. Maybe go read.
Yeah, and but
Saying
I
go
mean, but
read.
that's but it falls upon them as well as me in the prosecution because you kept talking about the sex. Like, how many times did we hear about the baby oil? How many times did we hear
But I
about the
think that
thousand
most
bottles?
people did that. That's why it was getting the attention it was, Chauncey, because I think most people was kind of thrown and waiting for them to bring more. You know what I mean? Every day they used to have this special about him, and they were saying the same thing. It was like they were waiting. This took 7 weeks for the prosecution to go. People were waiting for, are you getting ready to drop the big nugget any minute? You know what I mean? Because they couldn't
Yeah.
see
Like
it
who else was
with.
in the enterprise? I
That's
was
what I'm
like, well, who
saying.
else was
You
in the
said an enterprise.
enterprise?
I see two people. You see what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, this seems a little confusing. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't want to
Yeah.
minimize Cassie and the other young lady,
No,
but
at all.
the feds brought it up like this was some. I thought we were going to see some Epstein stuff going on or R.
Right.
Kelly stuff. Where the children at? Because you,
Distraction, and it was draining his money. That's all
yeah.
it was.
hmm But see, they don't realize that. That's why they wanted him on that RICO charge. But the RICO charge, after it's all you guilty of that, then they come for the money. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's when they would have. That's why he was
Well,
laying
they could have
around in
taken,
that
they could,
thing.
yes, they could have taken everything from him. They could take all of his
Everything
houses and they could
from
take everything.
him.
Yes.
Yep.
So
That's
now
why he
it'll
on the
all be
ground
based
laying
off
in the
of,
courtroom.
yeah,
Look, I'll go do that cool 2 years because y'all
right.
can't get these billions I got because that is
Hmm.
not guilty. All
Yeah.
right,
But the
final thought.
civil charges to take care of the rest of the money.
But you gotta think
The,
about it.
the
They
civil
got all
cases
these
to take care.
cases up there. These cases are, y'all know, Diddy got some hell of a lawyers going sitting with him. They can have 100 cases, but he found not guilty for this stuff. If you want to call about somebody threw hot baby oil on you or something, there's some crazy stuff out there for him. Good luck with
Right.
that. I hope you win something because you didn't
Yeah.
spend some time.
Yeah. They'll
Yeah.
get something only because it was introduced, right? So if they weren't able to introduce it, then these civil cases wouldn't have as much bearing. But the burden of proof is lesser in the civil case than it is in the
I'm
criminal case.
devastated. Every time I see baby oil, I get sick. I'm gonna put my claim in too.
Oh Lord.
I'd be
Do you
nervous.
not think it's people doing that? I'm just saying. He got 60
Mhm.
cases, 60 sitting out there.
Wow.
And it's just the mental time that you got to go through 60 cases. That can't be delightful. You know what I mean?
No.
That's lots of money, lots of paying a lawyer. You know what I mean? You can't go get no slack lawyer to get through 60
And you can
cases.
wait a minute. And you can't go back and make no more because you ain't gonna be able to work for a long, long time, if ever again. So
Well,
in what you were doing.
he make money when he sleep. Just remember
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
He
That's
making
true.
money when he
That's
sleep.
true.
He not a 9 to 5 like us. Everything he got out here, he making money. While he was in that
Right.
prison, he was making money. You know
Yeah.
what? That's his love. That money he got, because that means he can control people that he want to control. And a lot of people have been controlled by him. Lots. Men and women. I thought I was going to hear some real raunchy stuff about him and men. That never came up. People
Probably got
put the perspective out there about him. You see what I'm saying? It was all driven while we should be over here looking at the Congress and see what those people over there doing. That's what we need to be doing, not looking at Diddy. But okay, final thoughts.
so before I forget, my final thoughts are that because of this awareness, and we've
Mhm.
had it before, but because of this awareness, we need to be, women and men, conscious of the fact that it's a thin line between a willing participant and a victim. And
Mhm.
this could go really bad. So we have to be conscious of that. And make sure you are clear that people with power don't just use it for your benefit. They
They
use
use
it
it for
against you.
theirs. Hmm.
That's the main reason what they using it for theirs. And if you
Yeah.
think you getting something different, okay, that's your final thought. I'm sorry, I ain't gonna
Okay for them
interrupt.
to manipulate other people to get what you need, but then
Mhm.
when they manipulate you, you looking at them like, sorry.
Chauncey.
My final thought would be again, more than one thing can be true at the same time. Talk to our children. Let's make sure, especially if we know that we have a child that is a little bit more that's easier to be influenced than the other ones. We need to give them that special attention. We need to remind them of who they are and the strengths that they have so that they can't be manipulated in this way, even though there's some masterminds that are out there that know how to
Absolutely.
hone in and pick the right person. But we have to do better with our kids.
Keisha?
Well, I would say that we need to, again, tell women that to have your eyes wide open and things that you didn't do before, don't let somebody introduce things that you know that you really don't want to do or um, just get you into that compromising situation because you're going to have to take responsibility. Again, you have to take responsibility for your own actions. And that's all I have to say.
I hear you because this whole my final thoughts is that um if you are a victim, and it's not for really for us to judge, you know what you feel every day and every night. You see what I'm saying? Please get the help that you need,
Yes,
because
please.
there is plenty of resources. It's not just the victim's family is involved. It's a terrible like situation that you're in because of fame, money, you know what I mean, influence that has now turned terribly wrong. So I hope everybody who has been victimized, I'll say victimized, and they feel like they've been victimized by Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Love, Mr. Love, whatever all these 8 names that he got, that you really seek the help you need to become whole again. Because you're raising children, especially Cassie. She raising 3 children. The other young lady, she got a child, but she don't got custody of her child no more. But I'm just saying, please do what you have to do to get yourself well, because there's a lot of predators out here, lots of predators, and everybody don't come with the pitchfork and the horn sticking out their head. They come with promises, things that we're going to do for you, how I'm going to make you rich, how I'm going to take care of you. And we talk about, these young ladies, they're exposed to a billionaire. When we talk about, we know average women that we like me, you, I consider myself average, living a regular day at somebody's job, that have the same type of situations going on with them. You see what I'm saying? Being
Yes, that's
coerced
true.
into things, you know what I mean? Being led into situations where they know that this is not something healthy they should be going through, and being in a situation where they're afraid to say no. You know what I mean? That's huge. Afraid to say no.
Yeah.
All right. So great episode. Joining me tonight.
Your girl Celeste, and I just want you to I want you to remember to choose yourself.
Choose yourself. Hmm,
So,
And this is your girl Chauncey. You are more than enough.
that's a good one.
And this is your girl Keisha. Learn and grow. Keep your eyes open.
I know that's right. And had I forgot what I was going to say. Lord have mercy, y'all throw me off. So join us next week when we have another episode on Wednesday. So have a wonderful week on purpose, and we'll see you then. Take care.